Hello everyone! Happy Thursday. The best part of Thursday is that tomorrow is Friday. How are you all doing? I see Clark is with us, and Clark asks, what are we doing today? Oh my goodness, that is a good question. So today we're going to look at COVID-19 testing. I got myself a COVID-19 test and I filmed it, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Jason, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things. First, I am running a little competition to make the best. Did they stick it up my nose? Yes. You'll see in a second, all right? I'm running a little bit of a competition right now to make the best Scratch game compatible with the Answer Build Your Own Video Game Controller. So this guy has come quite a long way since maybe you were in it. I'm not sure if any of you were in my Build Your Own Video Game Controller elective last year. It was for Winter Grit. We made our own controllers, and this is like the ultimate version of it. I've printed out a PCB, and yeah, so check it out. This is like the soldered together version of the whole thing. And anyways, so we are building Scratch games to make them compatible. I'll talk a little bit more about this after today's lesson. But anyways, you have a chance to win yourself one of these. Okay, so today's learning target is I will use information to displace fear. Meaning, when you learn about something, you are less afraid of it. That is why I got myself a COVID-19 test today. So our school has received a number of COVID-19 tests from an organization called Crush the Curve. And they, I guess they make tests available to schools. I guess that's what they do, right? So, so I was like, hey, I want to get one of those tests, not because I am afraid I am sick. I feel perfectly fine, but because I wanted to, know more about it, right? And then I wanted to share that with you guys so that you would know a little bit more about it also. Your brother got tested twice for it in college. Oh my goodness. Is that because he was afraid that he was exposed? Or was that part of like the college, like getting into college, you have to take a COVID-19 test? Okay, so let's get going. Let's just watch this video, and then I'll talk a little bit about it, and then I will explain a little bit more about what the test is and how they do it and things like that, okay? All right, so here is the video. Let's click play and check this out. Okay, here I am at school, and we're going to find the person who's going to give us the COVID test. Ooh.
Do you know where you want to do it? Or you tell me.
Look how thrilled Chelsea is to be on camera. You're not going to give me the test, are you?
No.
Who's going to give me the test?
You're going to give yourself the test.
I'm going to give myself the test.
We're going to put it an inch up your nose and go around 3 times in one nostril and then take it up.
Oh my goodness, that is news to me.
Yep.
All right.
You don't want me to do it.
So wait, come over here. Come here for a second. Okay, so what is your name?
My name is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
And what do you do here? And you're new here this year.
I am very new this
So
year.
tell what do you do here at Answer?
I am the health screener.
Okay, health screener.
Yes.
And where can we find you in the building?
You can find me in the office or hopefully not down in the isolation room.
Oh, the isolation room.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm excited. So how do we do this?
Like, where do we do this?
Wherever you want to do it. It's only going to take.
Can we do it in the isolation room?
You can do it in the isolation.
Oh, that's where I want to do it.
All right.
All right, let's go to the isolation room.
Okay. On camera performance.
Okay. So this is the isolation room.
This is the isolation room.
This looks a lot like, I remember this used to be Amanda's room. So if you're looking at this saying, oh, this is Amanda's room, you are right. But
Yeah.
now it is an isolation. What would we use the isolation room for?
If a child or a staff member has any kind of COVID symptoms, then they would come here and wait to be picked up.
Wow, okay.
Uh-huh.
So that way you would not infect someone else around you.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Let me just set up my camera here.
And then we'll get the siblings number. Do you have your case number?
I don't have my case number.
I need your case number.
Okay, so I need to get my case number. Okay, so I've given her my confirmation number, my case number.
Case number.
And now I'm ready, I guess, to take the test. I just wanted to say before this, I've heard that it is uncomfortable. She's nodding. And I just wanted to say that I am like feeling anxious, a little bit of anxiety about that. So, I guess that's
That's good. That means you're human.
she says it
Things
means I'm
are-
human. That's not what
things
the test was not to see if I'm human. But.
No, we've already determined that. Okay, so this is gonna go up your nose, at least an inch. So we're making your nose, remember
Okay.
that? And you're gonna go around 3 times in one nostril, and then 3 times in the next nostril.
Okay.
And you get to do it, so.
All right. So I gotta do it myself here.
If your eyes are watering by the end, you've done it correctly.
My
is what
eyes
I-
are
Don't
watering.
just take that.
By the end, I've done it correct. So this has to go up to about here, up my nose. Okay, wow. Both?
Both nostrils.
Okay. Oh,
It's uncomfortable.
okay. Was that far enough?
Yep.
I see a little blood, so that's cool.
It's the real deal now.
I feel like this one has not gone into my stomach. Oh, there we go. Oh. Far enough?
Yep.
Oh. Wow.
Right, and then put the cotton into there.
Definitely has made my eyes water.
Yep, see, did it right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, that was not as bad as I thought it was going to. It was uncomfortable, but it didn't hurt. It didn't feel like my brain was being poked. I've heard that before, but it definitely has made my eyes water. It felt like, a good poke up my nose, but that's all. Okay, is that it?
That's it.
That's it. I got tested for COVID-19, and how long will it take to get results?
I will take these to the FedEx by the airport. They will fly them to Tennessee, and we should get them 24 hours after they receive it.
Okay, so it flies to Tennessee, and then once they get it, 24 hours. So,
You'll get a text message or an email.
okay, text message, and then we'll let you guys know what happens. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last thing I want to do is wash my hands, because anytime you do anything with your face or with food, or anytime you're doing anything important with your hands, make sure you wash them afterwards. Hot water.
Okay, so you've asked, for me, it was not like that. When was this? I'm going to guess that you are talking about when was this test done to me? Did you have a test done? So for me, this test was done yesterday. I had this done yesterday. So I guess it's easier to have them I guess it's safer for everyone if you let them test themselves, right? So, just a couple notes from like my experience here. You can see that, so there's the isolation room. If someone is showing signs of COVID-19 at school, we would put them into that room and they would be there by themselves to make sure they don't infect other people. The other thing is, like, it didn't hurt. It felt really weird, like there was something inside my face, but it didn't hurt. It just felt weird. So like this thing goes like up your nose, and I know that you all have had something up your nose before, but like if you jiggle it around, you can feel with the Q-tip, with the swab, that there is this like other ring in your nose, and when it gets past that, it goes up into your sinuses, which is like way up in here, and this is where the virus lives, right? Like it, like you get it inhaled up into here, it like duplicates itself up here, it goes like down into your lungs, gets all infected, super gross. So anyways, that's why they have to swab up into your sinuses. I did it, and for me, I just put in my nose, not as far as you. Yeah, so in researching this, I learned that the number one reason why a test would be a false positive is because you didn't get far enough back into the sinus. So a false positive is when someone, let's say I had COVID-19, right? Let's say I do have it, and then I don't do, the test fails, maybe the lab messes up, maybe I don't take the test correctly, some random thing happens, and then the test says, oh, you don't have COVID-19, even though I do. That is called a false negative, right? The fact that the test is negative is false. Got it? Okay. Yeah, so they said that the number one reason the false negatives happen is because they don't get up far enough into the sinuses where the virus is. So really interesting. Another thing I learned is that they have to ship it. They have to airmail it to Tennessee. So they take that little swab, they put it in a plastic tube. Well, now I think you might have had it. Well, it really depends. Did you have symptoms? Did you, were you coughing? Were you exposed to someone else who also had it? Like maybe like a parent or a brother or your best friend who you spent a lot of time with, like camping in the same tent, if you feel like you had, if you hung out with someone who did have a positive test, then maybe it's possible, So, yeah, so they have to send it to Tennessee. That was surprising to me because, I thought that there would be a lab here in Boise or maybe Salt Lake City or Portland or Seattle, but they have to send it all the way to Tennessee to get tested. Now, I don't know if that is because of like this test done by Crush the Curve or whatever, but I just thought that that's kind of funny that you think that there would be a lab in every major U.S. city now that is able to do it, The last thing that was really surprising to me was that, this test was given to me by Answer. I didn't have to put it on my insurance or pay for it, but I did learn that the test cost Answer, our school, $100. And that was surprising to me because I thought that the CDC was making all of the tests free. So, I feel like it's important, if we want to have everyone tested, that we should have these tests be free and readily available to everyone, Yeah, $100 for just the test. To take the test, yeah, the whole thing, $100. I was very surprised. And that's probably subsidized, that's a nice round even number, 100. So, yeah, it's surprising. Okay, so not only did I have the test, but then I was like, just naturally, I was like, well, I want to know, what are they doing with this swab, and how do they test? I mean, I took the test, but what do they do with a thing that's been up my nose? How do they tell if that has COVID, right? So I did some research into it. Oh, Bradley's here. Hello, Bradley. If you would have to get tested every day before you come into the building. Well, no, I don't have to get tested every day before I go into the building. This was just something that I did to learn about COVID-19. So there was no reason for me to take the test. I didn't feel like I needed it. I wasn't exposed to anyone. It was just something we did for education. And you can see it takes a number of days to get the results back. So not useful for not a rapid test, right? It'll just kind of helps you make better health decisions. Okay, so I did some research into what are they doing? How do they test? And I have made for you guys a very, very impressive slideshow. I drew all of these slides myself, and they are beautiful. Okay, so I hope that you are excited about this. I will get a response soon. I assume today, since I took it yesterday, that today it's flying to Tennessee, and when they get it, it'll be 24 hours, and then I'll have results. So it's at least 2 days to get results. Okay, so here are my awesome slides. Let's take a look here. Okay. Look how beautiful this is. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so this is a coronavirus. All right. The ring is just a little fatty membrane. Okay. And inside that orange squiggle right there, that is RNA. RNA. You've probably heard of DNA. This is RNA. So now, to the best of my remembering of biology, so DNA is like if you buy yourself a Lego kit, right? It comes with some instructions. DNA is like the instructions of how to build cells. Okay? Okay. Look, I have a DNA head. Okay, so the little spikes on the side are just little tiny proteins and RNA. That's it. It's just RNA inside a little blob of fat. All right? So that's it. So what they do is if I stick that thing up my nose, I try to get into the sinuses, I try to get some of the virus onto that swab. And if I get even one of the virus, very tiny little viruses, if I get one, they're able to detect if I have COVID-19 by doing this. What they will do is they will rip out the RNA out of that little fat membrane. So it's just the orange strand. And then they will copy it, right? Yeah, they'll make a copy. And then they will flip that copy around and glue it onto the RNA. And then they will make a DNA. Okay, so this is the double helix strand of a DNA. All right. And what they will do, they'll have this, it's maybe even if it's just one strand of DNA in their little dish, they're going to be able to duplicate it. So what they do is they take what is called PCR, and this is a PCR test, and I can't remember what the P stands for. It's like poly something, but the CR stands for chemical reaction. So poly something chemical reaction. Anyways, this PCR is like tuned very specifically to the DNA. Dagny asks, does it take the same amount of time for each test or can it vary? This is a good question. it really, it depends. I think that maybe that they had to fly it to Tennessee because it was this part of this crush the curve thing. Maybe if you're getting like a local St. Luke's test, maybe they do it like right here, I don't really know. So this PCR is tuned exactly to this DNA, and they add it into the little petri dish, and they swish it all around, and what happens is that PCR will start to rapidly duplicate the COVID-19 DNA. All right, here's my next beautiful slide. Look at this art. There's a high quality art you guys are getting today, okay? So what will happen, let me figure out, there we go. If the PCR hits the DNA, it will start to duplicate it. It will make more and more and more of the DNA, billions of times, making it just replicate like crazy, grow inside this little dish. And then they're able to look in it and be like, aha, this chain reaction happened. You have 5K art. I know. This chain reaction happened, so we can say that you have COVID-19. Now, if there is no virus in the dish, then what happens is this PCR doesn't react to any other DNA. So you can see here is this like blue and purple one I drew. That is not COVID-19. So it does not duplicate it. So you'd look at the dish and say, oh, it didn't grow in here. So we know that this test is a negative. You do not have COVID-19. Okay. So that is what this PCR test is. That's what I just took. That's what I did on the video. And so then there's one more test, and that is called an antibody test. So antibodies, okay, this is maybe a little PG-13 here, right? Look at all that blood. This is a drop of blood, all right? And inside are antibodies. And the antibodies, I've drawn them as little stick guys with spears. So super. Okay, so Bradley asks, how can you get a false positive? So a false positive happens a number of ways. And sometimes we don't even know. But it could be that I didn't get any of the virus, like I didn't put it up in my nose far enough to get enough virus onto the swab, or maybe something happened to contaminate the results. Maybe like some sunlight got in it, or some cleaner solution or something and killed it. So that way it didn't get to the lab. Or maybe the lab guy messed up. Maybe they accidentally did something wrong with it. They didn't add enough chemical to make it grow, and so nothing did grow, So there's all kinds of different ways, and we're not sure. All those things can happen, and we just, as scientists, we try our best to minimize that kind of results. That's why we want to do repeated, well-documented practice. Okay, so let's talk about this gory drop of blood here with our antibodies inside. When you get sick, your immune system produces antibodies, little tiny proteins, which look a lot like little guys with spears. And what they do is they are in your blood, and they go around and they hunt down the virus, and they disable it or they kill it. And then when you are better, you're no longer have the virus, the antibodies stick around inside your blood, sometimes for days, weeks, sometimes for years, sometimes for your whole life. You have these antibodies protecting you from some kind of disease. So one way they can test to see if you have or had a disease is to look inside your blood for these antibodies. And if their antibodies are there, it means that maybe at some point you had the COVID-19. So those are the two kinds of tests, this PCR test and this antibody test. And that concludes my amazing art slideshow. Okay? All right. That's it, guys. So I hope that today you got some information and you were like, oh, okay, so this COVID-19 test is not that bad. It's expensive and it feels weird, but it is not dangerous. It didn't hurt in any way, you know? So, and then in a couple of days, I'm going to know if I have COVID-19 or not. I really don't think I do, but you know, if that negative test comes back, I'm not going to lie. I'll be like, oh, good, you know? All right. Okay, so let me talk a little bit real quick about, so this concludes today's lesson, and there's no homework today, but I do want to talk a little bit about this guy. So we have this Pirate Controller PCB. So instead of the wires, you can see that they etched copper channels through the fiberglass board here. So that's how they are all connected. I soldered it all down onto the board. I have a whole bunch of extra one of these. And if you would like to win one that we can either make together or I can make for you on a live stream, whatever we can figure out that will be safe, then I will give this to you if you win our Make a Video Game Controller game contest, okay? So basically what you need to do, I'm going to go to Chrome here. Okay, here is mrincorvia.com. I'm going to go down to games, the pink button. And here, over here, the build your own video game controller games. Basically, you want to make a Scratch app or game that uses all the arrow keys, A and Z. All right, that's it. Don't use any other controls except for the arrow keys, A and Z. And then if your game is the best, totally up to me, totally just my preference, whatever, you know, then I will get you, we will make one of these together. I can solder it for you. I can show you how to solder, whatever we have time to do. It's a lot of fun and super easy. And this is like really durable. I don't know if you were in the class. The cardboard is fun to work with and kind of like good for beginners, but this is like a real deal. I'm in the process of cutting some plexiglass to like make a controller case for it right now. So that's a fun project. Also, Mr. Clark, if you were in the class, I wanted you to know that I have updated the code for this. One of the issues we had was like, it would work well in Scratch, but it wouldn't work in like Minecraft or any other controller. So what I did was I updated the code for this, and now it works a lot better. So if you want me to, you can email me, say, hey, Captain, send me the code to update my controller. I will send that to you, okay? Okay, guys, that is it for today. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you never have to take one of these COVID-19 tests. And I hope to see you all pretty soon, okay? All right, bye-bye, guys.